Who has room for a dish drainer on a boat? No one, it seems, has the counter space needed. But a reader suggested a great way, if you have a double sink, to use one side to dry your dishes. Hi there, I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley podcast, I'll share how to make a compact and simple dish drainer in one side of your galley's double sink. Better yet, it keeps dishes from falling when you're underway. Now, today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Aquamap, the best app for navigating the ICW or doing the Great Loop. Seriously, we used it last year and absolutely loved it. Aquamap allows for easy route planning with overlays from Active Captain and the Waterway Guide, and even an easy import for Bob 423 tracks. Tides, currents, waypoints, an anchor alarm, everything is there. Upgrading to Aquamap Master brings in all the features that will transform your device into a real chart plotter. Seriously, we've been using Aquamap for over 2 years, actually closer to 3 almost now, and I find that when we go through any tricky place, I grab my iPad and navigate with Aquamap instead of the chart plotter. That's how much better I like it. Find Aquamap in your App Store or the Play Store. Okay, let's talk about dish drainers. I know it's a seemingly simple thing, and yet it can really frustrate you when you first move onto a boat. Here today, if you've got a double sink, I'm going to talk about how you can make one side into a dish drainer area very, very simply. Now, this idea comes from Diana Emma aboard Harmony, Diana 42, who was cruising Pacific Mexico back in 2012 and sent me this. She said, on Harmony, we have double stainless steel galley sinks, just about evenly divided, and almost no counter space. I was able to find a very inexpensive rectangular stainless steel cake rack on Amazon that fits perfectly in one half of my sink. I put little globs of silicone on the bottom of the feet so that my sink wouldn't be marred. I now use the second sink with the cake rack in the sink bottom as my dish draining or drying location. Water from the newly drained dishes just drains through the rack right down into the sink drain. And my sink can hold a lot of washed dishes. I don't need to use any valuable countertop space. And things never slide off. The rack remains in the second sink all the time, even when the clean dishes have been put away. And Diana also put a stainless steel silverware holder into the sink. In the show notes, we've given a couple of links for these products. They're great. The big thing, if you're looking at something like this, is to find something that is actually stainless steel. Try to find something that is at least 1810. That's how houseware stuff is, stainless is done. If you get the non-stainless or the very low quality stainless steel, it will rust pretty easily. And be sure to measure your sink carefully before buying anything. You doesn't have to completely cover the bottom. If it is close to the size, it'll keep the dishes up and off the bottom so that they will really drain. I really, really like this idea. Almost all in-sink dish drainers are actually more of a basket design coming up the sides of the sink, and they take up valuable room. Boat sinks tend to be not real large in the first place, so taking up an extra half an inch on each side really does take a lot of space up. With Diane's idea, you have the full size of the sink with just a little space taken up under the dishes for the water to drain. That usually isn't, the depth of the sink isn't usually the problem. It's the width and depth. Also, the fact that if you're underway at all, nothing will fall. Believe me, if you've been underway and using any sort of a standard dish rack on the counter, or even just putting a towel on the counter, having dishes slide off is not a fun experience. If you don't have a dish double sink or you can't make this work, we do have a number of other good ideas on the Boat Galley website for how to make dish drainers. Anyways, take care. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Boat Galley podcast. Hope you found it useful. If so, please be sure to subscribe and tell your friends about it. And if you feel like leaving a review, we love those too. Thanks. Until next week.